project have a name?
Thermal refuge.
Identifying thermal refuge in the Coldwater River.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Identifying thermal refuge in the Coldwater River. Yeah. My name is Nathan Lustig. I'm a fisheries biologist with Schwalcombe Tribal Council, based out of Merritt, British Columbia, which is on the unceded traditional territories of the Inuit-Katmik and Syilx people. We've partnered with Raincoast on a project here, identifying thermal refuge sites on the Coldwater River. The Coldwater River, despite the name, actually gets very warm. In the main stem, we see temperatures like 25 degrees, which are definitely not very good for salmon productivity. So we find salmon really look for these refuge sites and utilize them where they can grow and thrive and eat and have a little bit of reprieve from the heat.
In order to find these sites, we would either have to walk the entire river and take temperature measurements along the way, or we used the drone and we flew the river from a section we're interested in, and that took a fraction of the time and allowed us to map basically the entire reach that we wanted to look at. Every little nook and cranny, and how we've been doing this is there's an infrared camera on the drone, and as it's flying, we're looking for these like dark blue spots on the thermal imagery, and then we've been coming down to the river, taking temperature measurements, and seeing what they're actually like on the ground. Once we get down to the sites, we want to look at the habitat as a whole, look at things like riparian vegetation, so that's the trees and shrubs that are growing close to the river. We're also looking for wood that's in the river because these provide really good hiding spots for fish. And then lastly, we are getting in the water with snorkel gear to look at the fish. We want to see what kind of fish there are, how many there are, getting a picture of the underwater habitat, because you can't really get a true sense of that without getting in the water and looking. Our goal is to be able to have an inventory of all of these sites along the river with all of their habitat characteristics, how many fish we saw, how good the habitat is, and what potential threats they may face. And then we'll be able to come up with a strategy to either protect these sites or enhance them, because we know they're really valuable to fish.
So maybe increase the size or doing shading to try to limit some of the solar radiation that's heating these up. How do we convince people to care? That's a good question.
We have hotter, drier summers, we have less snowpack in the winter, and that means that these pockets of cold water that are naturally occurring are becoming more and more important for salmon to escape the extreme impacts of climate change and become more resilient over time as climate change continues to progress.
There's lots of things that happen outside in the ocean that we don't have a ton of control of, but here in the freshwater, and being able to work in the watershed here to do work that actually is impactful would be super powerful.